Bună ziua, sunt Bogdan Alecu și bine ați venit la prima emisiune ZF Cum Construim România. Am lansat această nouă emisiune pentru că în România în acest moment vedem foarte multe proiecte de infrastructură, multe proiecte industriale care se dezvoltă și deși creșterea economică pe 2024 n-a fost cea mai bună, cu siguranță mergem înainte pe acest drum, vom avea creștere economică din ce în ce mai mare în următorii ani, susținută în primul rând de noile lucrări de infrastructură, atât rutieră, feroviară, cât și noi unități de producție. Tocmai pentru a discuta despre aceste elemente, îi avem invitați astăzi în prima emisiune realizată împreună cu cei de la CTP, pe Mihai Bordeanu, Country Head pentru Grupul Renault și directorul general al automobile Dacia, a doua cea mai mare companie din România, cel mai mare exportator și producătorul de la Mioveni, cum îl știm cu toții, și pe Peter Čerešník, directorul operațional pentru CTP la nivel european și director interimar pentru România. CTP este și cel mai mare proprietar și dezvoltator de spații industriale, atât în România cât și la nivel european. În România are deja 3 milioane de metri pătrați, este de departe cel mai mare proprietar de astfel de spații industriale și logistice. Spații care găzduiesc nu doar depozitare, nu doar logistică, cât și unități de producție. Iar aceste unități de producție s-au tot dezvoltat în ultimii ani, pentru că România a reușit să atragă astfel de investiții și să nu uităm că în 2025, de la 1 ianuarie, am intrat și în spațiul Schengen cu granițele terestre, toate acestea contribuind, desigur, la atractivitatea României. First of all, we will switch now to English to communicate better. Thank you for joining us, Peter, Mihai.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Peter, I'm going to start quickly with you. How do you see Romania now from a CTP point of view? How important is Romania in your portfolio, and how willing is CTP to invest more in our country?
I look at the landscape of our business. Romania is the second largest market for CTP, representing slightly over 3 million square meters of leasable space. We've been continuously investing in the Romanian territory. If I look at the market over the last couple of years, the market itself grew since pre-COVID period roughly by 50%. In the same period of time, we doubled our presence in the market. So that's a factual reflection of how much we believe in Romania as a market where we want to invest. Overall, we invested somewhere close to 2 billion already into the market, and we continue to do so because of it has various aspects. Why? Because of Bucharest area and central Romania actually became a logistical hub for companies exporting products towards south and east. That's no doubt, and that continues to grow and is becoming a very favorite place. But equally, when you look at the Transylvania, western part of the country, it's becoming very hot when it comes to industrial production investments. So for us, Romania remains to be very much on top of the radar when we are looking at where to allocate the capital, where to invest.
Thank you. Now, switching to Dacia. Dacia was always a promoter of Romanian industry, and now it produces here in Romania some of the most expensive cars. We have the Duster. Now in 2025 we will have the Bigster. How do you see now the progress of the plant and of the market in 2025?
Well, you're absolutely right. We've been a long way in the past decade, and we started the production of the brand new Duster a few months ago. The results are already outstanding. So last year, 1 car in 10 sold in Romania was a Duster. We are preparing to do at least the same with Bigster, which is now preparing to enter into production. We already start with the prototypes, and the first cars will be in the showrooms by Easter this year. So it's pretty soon. Both cars are amongst the most complex cars Dacia is making. So this is also a recognition, but also a responsibility for Romania, for Mioveni, that we can do that. We have the necessary skill force do that in Romania. And we are trusted by the group to do so. And we're also trusted to provide cars because, as you know, more than 90% of the production in Mioveni is being exported in the 44 markets where Dacia is present. So prepare for another fireworks with the beginning of Bigster, and that's going to be pretty soon, but also a continuation with Duster, and we're going to have a pretty busy year in 2025. If all the stars will be properly aligned, and we'll talk more about it because we are not the only ones, it takes two to tango, as we say, but if we tango right, I think that would be one of the best years for Romania so far.
Mm-hmm. And a question for the both of you. We have some good news when it comes to infrastructure, especially highways. So last year we had 200 kilometers of express roads and highways. That's an all-time high for Romania. This year we might have somewhere between 150 and 250 kilometers of new high-speed road. How will this impact your business? Also, we are in Schengen, so another good news when it comes to infrastructure, because you can cross the border much quickly. What will be the impact? Are we more accessible to investments? Is better for your business? Let's start with Dacia coming to production.
Right. So we salute this. It's something extraordinary that finally, in the last maybe 3 years, we've seen a strong acceleration on the infrastructure building. And as you said, we've seen kilometers and kilometers adding up. And right now we are, I would call that decent, the state of the infrastructure. But obviously, we shouldn't stop here. And it's not time to open the champagne yet. But these are positive signs. And I hope everything will continue even more accelerated, because we have a lot to recover. We need to say that we need a lot of recovery from the past. Also, the entrance to Schengen is an extremely positive thing, and we've been discussing this many times. It really helps us. As I said, 90% of the cars, they go abroad. For us, it's absolutely gold. The fact that we can avoid staying 35 hours in the customs. So that certainly that will make Romania more competitive. And we count on that. Now, my message is very simple. We shouldn't stop here by any means. And if we can accelerate it, if anyone can do one step to accelerate it, I think we have to make that step.
Thank you. And Peter, coming to Romania and the infrastructure, how will it change, or how will your plans evolve investing in Romania? Because from what I saw, you have plans in key points around Romania. So, for example, one of the newest is in the southern part of Bucharest, when you have already the A0, the new highway. You have the old city belt, which is being modernized. In the western part of the country, the same. We have a new highway, so the infrastructure is growing fast and around your project.
It's very easy. At CTP, we are dreamers, and we are believers in growth and future. Road infrastructure enables us to dream doubled or tripled. That's very simple, because of our business usually happens where there is good road infrastructure, because of we are building warehouses, we are building buildings for the industrial production, and usually it's very important for our clients to be close to reasonable road connections. If these investments into the road infrastructure in Romania continues, it will help us to go to places we've been not able to go today. Mm-hmm. And I know it from the other markets, because of CTP is very much about network effect. Mm-hmm. We are operating 10 countries, roughly 800 plus locations, more than 1,000 clients, many of them very serial clients. And they are asking us to go to the new places because there is generally shortage of the labor force, educated labor force, and they can only grow towards the direction where the road infrastructure, the infrastructural investments are happening. So for us, it's just the best news which we might see in the market.
Mm-hmm. Will we see some certain investments in your current projects? Because, for example, last year That was a big transaction with Global Worth, the transaction in which you also bought the logistics warehouse where Dacia is being present at Warja.
Yes. If I look at the history of CTP, how we've been growing the business and building our portfolio, generally around 70% of all we operate is built by CTP. And roughly 30% has been through various acquisitions of individual properties or portfolios. We are very happy for this Global Worth transaction from the last year because of it's getting us into connection with new clients and creating new opportunities. And usually the way we work is that when we start always with one building, one property, one common interest, and then we are expanding that cooperation because of CTP story is all about building or acquiring, but then operating for unforeseeable length of the future. So we have zero intentions to sell our properties. We like bearing the commitment towards our clients because of long-term relationship is not only good because of stability of our economic prosperity of the company, but it's also about, oh, yes, sir, yes, I will serve you also in 20 years from now. So that's also very important. So from that perspective, these kind of expansions are very important to us. And if I look at the portfolio at the moment, somewhere around 2 million square meters of our Romanian income-producing portfolio is wider Bucharest. Mm-hmm. And the rest of it is spread through the country. If you look at Craiova, Cluj, Timișoara, Oradea, Arad, Sibiu, plenty of places. If I go back to this previous topic of infrastructures, if the investment into the infrastructure continues, not only general economy will prosper and grow out of it, but we will be part of it, and we know how to contribute to it.
Thank you. Coming back to Dacia and its commercial offer, what's the plan now for Bigster? When should we expect the car into the showroom, and how's the logistics in the back going?
Well, I would say so far everything is according to the plan. As I said, we are advancing fast in the prototyping, and Romania is the first industrialization for Bigster, the unique one for the moment. So things are according to the plan. We're going to hit showrooms around Easter. So we're expecting our customers, our first customers, to take delivery by then. We have opened the orders already, and we've seen some encouraging numbers. But okay, I don't want to jinx it. I want to say it's good before we actually make it. But again, the first results are quite encouraging for Bigster.
How do you manage such a complex car for Dacia? Because we have so many options now on it. It's much better equipped than we saw until now.
Yeah, it's the most complex Dacia that we've been ever created. And it's also the entrance of Dacia in the what we call the C SUV segment, which might sound a bit technical, but simply is the biggest segment in Europe. So now we're going to play in the Champions League. We've been doing intensive training, but now we start to play. And I guess we start to play right in that particular segment because we are equipped, as you said, with what it takes. Because for the first time, we're bringing new things in Dacia, but things that are a prerequisite if you really want to play, and not to play, but to win in the C segment. And we can mention here the investment, 16 million investment that we made in the double colored Bigster that we have for the first time. So we're able to come up with a car which is, as we call it, Biton, the different nuance of the car, of the ceiling. And that's only one thing, but there are many more features that are present now in Bigster. Things that will enable basically a client of a C segment that before 5 years ago they were going to a different showroom, and then you know what happened during 5 years. The prices went up severely, and now they're gonna want to renew their car, and then we are waiting them to try a Bigster, and then hopefully to buy it.
What can you tell us about new suppliers of Dacia for the Bigster? You have new suppliers in Romania, in Europe. I presume because it has so many new options in comparison with the Duster. You have more parts in it.
Yeah, but not so many, because we prefer to work with the current ones, and most of them are able also to do different things.
Okay.
They are quite extended in terms of range of products they offer. And as you know, we like also synergies. So there's a lot of synergy between Bigster and Duster, for instance. And it's also this is allowing us to keep this low price point, and then basically the best ratio, price quality, that is the trademark of Dacia. And it's also present in Bigster.
Thank you. How's 2025 at the CTP level, with all these discussions from beginning with what's happening in the US, in Ukraine, the expansion of China? Is it now a bigger challenge for you to develop and to attract investors?
In fact, it reminds me of one discussion I had with our founder a couple of months ago, when we've been discussing the economic trends. And in the end he says, Peter, take it differently, because if I see CTP to be, he calls it Gruppo Aparto. In Italian it means different group. So I know that there is level of uncertainty throughout Europe. I hear from our main competitors and partners, okay, they expect lower demand. But when I look at our own individual opportunities to grow the business with our existing partner, with our existing tenants, with the new ones, I'm very optimistic about 2025. But it can go several directions. We can participate on the growth of the economy, or we can participate on competing the market itself and to take a little bit of business with us. Plus, we can do extra layer of investments coming, because of that's, for example, since last 2 years we have on-ground team in Asia, in continental China, Hong Kong, Taiwan. So we have few people who are promoting what we do in the Europe, and with this massive trend of nearshoring, actually, it provides a lot of opportunities to bring Asian-based companies to start their production facilities in the Europe, which are very much connected to automotive, for example. Mm-hmm. So many of them are providing the spare parts, the materials, the production goes into the automotive space, but not only that, also other industries, consumer electronics, chip manufacturing, this sort of stuff. So I'm less worried about us individually. Of course, I'm resonating what we see in the market. So if Europe gets into the difficult position with the newly elected US president, it might be challenging. We will handle. I'm a strong believer. We are 500 million people in Europe. Very well educated, we have sense of mutual interest. At some point we will grow to the point that we can fight this complicated worldwide situation.
Is it easier for you at CTP, because from what I saw, you're not acting like a corporation usually.
We don't want to.
Exactly. Yeah, you're acting differently in the market. Is that a plus for you? You can move faster than competition?
We generally strongly believe in running business in simple way. And simple way means to keep high level of actionability. So you don't see much of lengthy workshops at CTP, long management meetings, too much of philosophical discussion. We just love what we do. We try to engage and interact with our tenants as priority number one. We learn the best about what needs to be the future move, the next move of CTP from those interactions. We also believe in providing the autonomy to teams we have. And it doesn't mean that I'm trying to nurture the autonomy, for example, at the Romanian level. But in Romania, we are operating through 7, we call it micro-region teams. Usually they take care of 1, 2, 3, 4 locations, and they run their business quite independently on the group or any kind of given provisions, what needs to be done. It stimulates team spirit, it stimulates joint ownership, it stimulates simply right decisions, because if I don't believe I can decide better than my local colleagues, because they are in direct touch with the market, so they can serve the needs of the client in way better way than through some corporate guidance. And that's why we don't believe we want to ever become bureaucratic corporation.
Thank you. How was the start of 2025? I saw the first numbers appeared last night with the numbers in January, so the market went a bit up when it comes to registration. How was in terms of production and sales? What do you know? And what can you tell us?
It's only 1 month, so we'll never go too much heat up on 1 month. But the results were good. Results were very good all over Europe. Some countries more, some countries less. In Romania, in particular, the results, I mean, you've seen them. So we are positive in terms of registrations versus last year. It's true that this market now, it's not only in Romania, we are some sort of tipping point, and we will see which direction we will take. First, we have to observe to see which direction European Commission will take, and then this will have consequences, obviously, on the potentially fines that we will have to pay or not. Let's see, if we keep the current targets for 2025, the CAFE regulation, the decarbonization in Europe. If we keep, again, these same regulations without any change, it means that the industry will have to put on the table 15-16 billion euro. And this will have obviously negative consequences of everybody from this ecosystem. But for me, what worries most is my clients, because at the end, they will also suffer. And we don't want this at the Dacia. So we must protect this by any means that we can. And this is going to be challenging in 25. I said before, if all the stars will align, and I think we have some things that will hopefully will happen in Romania pretty soon. We are waiting for no surprises regarding the system, the fiscal code and everything, but let's imagine this thing will happen, hopefully, for all of us. Second, and this is very particular to the industry, we're waiting for the famous Rabla program to start as soon as possible. We're waiting for this program to be stronger than last year, because we look at the last year results and these are not glorious. In terms of electrification, Romania is about 6%, as you know very well, way behind the Central and Western Europe. So this has to be done, and this has to be done differently, and this has to be done fast, and this has to be done in an efficient way. And if I may, it's going to be another 2 minutes max. What do I mean by efficient? Because everybody knows the program. But this is only one face of the truth, right? So we are just scrapping cars, old cars that are polluting the atmosphere in Romania. All this is very good. But on one side, we're doing this, and with the other hand, we allow cars which are extremely high in pollution, in carbon dioxide to come as import old cars. Because if we look at this park is among the oldest car park in Europe. And it's not enough, because much more cars, old cars are entering, and not enough are being scrapped in the program. I can understand the government doesn't have enough budget, and it's very valid. But on the other hand, what do we do to make a proper balance between the cars that are entering and are polluting are the ones that are being scrapped? And this is something that we really need to think about. And we thought about this, and we made our homework in Dacia. We wrote a program. We are not alone. We are not just Dacia. We are Racarom, so the whole association of the automotive from Romania manufacturers. And we did it also with Pricewaterhouse. So this is a totally independent company. So what we can put on the table now is a full documented system in which it's very simple. I don't want to talk about taxes. I don't want to talk about a new tax. What I want to do is to respect a simple principle. If you pollute, you pay. Because it's not happening right now. And look at the annual tax that someone is paying for owning a car in Romania. Right? You take a 20-year-old car and you pay, I calculated this morning, perhaps RON 1 per day. Okay, so that would be about 300, and this is at best if the car is very old, 25 years old. Yeah, so it's really something which needs to be seen and needs to be seen fast in order to have a balanced system, because the question is how the market will look like. Well, if we do the right things, then this market will look good, because we all want to put on the market cars that are polluting less. There's no doubt about this.
But how do you see the scrapping program, the programul Rabla, this year? Should pay a higher sum of money for electrics, for hybrids? How do you see it?
Well, I see it very simple. Last year, let me take it back 1 year ago. So we had a great year in 2023, right? And then the incentive was at a certain level, above 10,000 per car, scrapped and bought electric, right? Switched to electric. For every acquisition, purchase of electric car, we had an incentive of 10K. Last year, we had an incentive of 5K, and the market went down by 32%. And this was massive. So still Romania is at the beginning. The customers need a bit of incentive to buy the electric cars. And this is on one side. Of course, it's not enough. I mean, I can't tell you now that 6,000 or 7,000 would be enough, but it has to be higher than last year. If we want a different result, we need to apply a different recipe. Otherwise, it's going to be exactly the same. But this is only one side of it. So the other is, let's also look at the fundamental things, like the infrastructure. Because am I going to buy an electric car? Yes, no. Where do I live? I live in the city. Okay. Which city? Do I have a proper infrastructure? Do I have a way to charge my car? And then the real question comes and say, okay, if I were to build the infrastructure, I'm talking about chargers. Do I have an electrical network to match the chargers? Do I have electric power enough in those places that would allow a massive amount of chargers to come? And as soon as we go there, the answer is in the question, which is we need a plan. You remember how many times we heard, you and I, since maybe 10 years, the famous master plan of infrastructure, talking about roads now. We never heard about a master plan of electric infrastructure. Perhaps it's time that somebody with a pen and paper, or perhaps with a little computer, to start issue the first version of it, right?
Thank you. Talking about green energy, especially, CTP installed many solar panels on its warehouses. Where it is now, and where do you want it in Romania? What power do you want to install, to have?
The history of the solar business or solar power plants with CTP goes back 12, 13 years, nearly 15 years when we started with solar installations in Czech Republic. We've been operating since. Then we went quite massive about this topic roughly 3 years ago. We prepared a midterm investment plan, secured external financing. Generally, at the moment, we operate somewhere around 130 megawatts at peak across the whole portfolio. A significant portion, nearly 30 megawatts, are installed on our Romanian properties. We would love to do more, but there is few buts. First is that we spent quite some time learning about individual jurisdictions. And believe me, you don't want to enter this as a new market because it's so confusing. We are coming from very simple business. Properties are not difficult business. But you go into this energy business and there are restrictions from the left, from the right, from your back, and also in front of you. We successfully made it through this period, so now we have full comprehension of what are the options for a company of our type to invest into the solar. We continue building. It's very much about how the European whole economy and the clients are really authentic about the ESG improvements, because we talk a lot about it. Governments are talking a lot about it. We do a lot of regulation. But then you talk to our individual clients. Yes, we have a bunch of those who are very sensitive to ESG improvements. There are some pioneers and leaders in that field, but we also have equally good proportion of clients who say ESG is not yet my thing because of I will only do so I will only go that direction once I will be regulated that way. So it's a little complicated. So to some extent, I feel like we are pioneering with the solar investments, EV chargers, heat pumps, improved concept for the thermal insulation of the buildings. We are working on various concepts how to save the energy consumption overall, installing smart meters across the whole portfolio to learn more about the consumption curves, because of people like to talk about directionally, give me better, less energy consuming building, but when you ask them, okay, what are your consumption needs, difficult. We also invest a lot into securing higher capacities of the electricity guaranteed for our locations, for our parks. Sometimes it's because of we just see strategically that the strong EV wave is coming, sometimes because of productional clients. Overall, very authentic motion. We like what we do, how we do it. We just need stronger partnerships. We need companies, clients, governments to go more unisono, and then to have these measures, as Mihai mentioned, that it's just not enough. We talk a lot in Europe about improving the energy consumptions as ESG status of the economy. It's weak so far.
But do you have companies that require this, ask this of you?
Yes. There is quite statistically, I would say maybe 10% of our clients are very vocal, very demanding. So they are actually the motor behind us putting the fuel, putting the attention, putting the resources, energy into improvements. There is quite substantial part of clients who just don't talk ESG improvements. And there is this gray mass in the middle where we can actually a little bit educate, evangelize about what are the benefits, because of sometimes by continuous investments, investing into new technologies, new concepts, you can also save operational cost of our clients. It's not just saving the planet's motion, but it's also very pragmatic. So overall, it's on the motion. We would just love to see more authenticity, more speed, more real passion for that motion.
Does this mean you are also increasing rents because of these investments?
That's a difficult one, because of everybody expects landlords and developers to cover the cost for it, but we are a for-profit business as any other.
Someone has to pay.
So someone has to pay. So in reality, yes, we are partially covering those investments because we are in transition mode. But let's imagine everybody will be really serious about energy consumptions 10 years down the road. Then we will get to the normal stage that it's not the landlord who pays out of own pocket for these improvements, but it's part of the overall specification of the product you are putting into the market. But we are not yet there. At the moment, it requires our own capital to be deployed in this pioneering and evangelization.
Mm-hmm. Mihai, Dacia also had a program for installing solar panels for the plant. How is that working?
Yeah, we had this idea some time ago. As Peter said, Romania is not the simplest country on the paperwork side. It's taking a lot of time indeed, but it's not just that. There's also a question about efficiency, and there's also a question about cost reduction. And I'm going to tell you, some numbers. So basically, Dacia is consuming about 3 gigawatts. So if we do it and we put solar panels on all Pitești, all Mioveni, the platform, the industrial platform in Mioveni, we're going to cover 8 or 9% of the consumption. So that's not a lot, really. And still the project is advancing, not with the speed that I would like to, but it is moving. I'm also very interested in what's going to happen with the remainder of 91 or 92% of the energy, because we are paying here 45 to 50% more than in Spain. I'm talking about energy now with taxes and transport, so everything, the final bill, and we're paying 22 to 25% more than in France. And I'm talking here about the whole automotive industry sector. And that's a lot. And every time we're asking ourselves why Romania is not that competitive, or let's be positive, what can we do to make it more competitive? then the answer lies in the question. So let's look at the energy, let's look at the wages, let's look at the minimum wage that has been doubled in the last 5 years, if we look back. So these things are not simple, but they need to be tackled soon.
So we have much more expensive energy. We have new taxes that appear overnight, like we had at the end of 2023 with the 1% from the turnover.
Yeah, we do have that one. You know that I'm not a fan, obviously, but if it's in the law, we're gonna pay it. What I'm waiting for is to see what's the optimization, what's going to come after that. So, and as I said, are we going to be able to align those prices and be more competitive in energy? What are we going to do to make this industry more competitive? Not necessarily looking only at the new entrants, because, you know, there is sometimes this wave of thinking that let's offer facilities for all the new entrants. Okay, this is very good. But let's look also at the ones that are investing since last 20 years, billions of euro and dollars in Romania, and see how we help them. I mean, we need to have the right balance between those two things.
Thank you. Switching to CTP, Romania began being, in the last few years, a regional center when it comes to logistics and warehouses.
Yes.
So even Dacia, with its warehouse in Romania, it has here at Varja its center for spare parts. We have other companies, some of which are in your logistic parks, that have here the logistics center for Central and Eastern Europe. Will this trend accelerate? Are you in discussion with other companies to come here in Romania to distribute, I don't know, to Greece, Turkey, Bulgaria, or even Hungary?
Yes. It's a very simple response. We have quite a number. We have a lot of discussions about expanding the presence of European makers of furniture, apparel, medicaments, all that sort of stuff. So plenty of industries are just seeing Romania as the sweet spot. And it's also coming together with the investments, massive investment into the road infrastructure, becoming part of the Schengen, so it's suddenly becoming easier. There is still some difference on the labor cost, which is convenient, which over time Romanian economy needs to twist into more value added. I'm from one of the countries where we are already past that point, too expensive labor. We are lagging behind the transformation to value-add economy. So there is plenty of opportunities, and it's especially, as you say, towards the south, towards the east. But also it's bringing more of the presence of companies who can do R&D in the country, because of it's just coming hand in hand. We see quite a lot of drive for robotization, automatization in the projects which we are delivering to the market. So overall, the motion is very strong. Just I would beg all of us active over here in Romania to stay alert and to continue pioneering and innovating beyond the point of becoming the massive logistic hub for the south and east, because of at some point it's a life organism. Over time it might go away a few hundred kilometers, few thousand kilometers. And in the meantime, Romanian economy has fantastic opportunity to build something long-lasting, value-added, created value over here by the local people.
For investments from CTP, with which countries does Romania compete? Which is our biggest competitor when it comes to investments from CTP? Is it the Czech Republic, Slovakia?
Poland.
Definitely
Poland, definitely Germany, for different reasons.
Okay.
Look, CTP is an organization where there is plenty of sport-oriented mentality. We love competing, we love winning, we hate the losing. That's waking up in the middle of the night, how to be better tomorrow. If I look at these 10 countries where we already operate, there is half of those where we are number one player in the market. But there is equally good bunch of countries where we need to grow, where we don't want to compete for the top positions. Poland is a good example. It's growing at the fastest pace across the countries where we have the presence. But also we are referring to the market, which is 33 million square meters of income-producing leasable space. Germany is more than double of it. It's a very large market. We entered that market through acquisition of Dacia Industry, a portfolio of 1.6 million square meters of commercial space, industrial space. In general, we see different opportunities. So Romania is a lot about high-scale logistic around Bucharest, and the rest of the country more about industrial production opportunities. Poland is very much mixed version of these. If I look at the Germany, we see enormous growth potential in the brownfields because there is plenty of brownfields which are central to regional cities, to small cities. And these people, they would love to transform it into some different kind of added value into the local economy. So every of these markets is quite different story. But what I would say our 10 existing markets are competing for, of course, for the capital because of the capital allocation is very important to protect the shareholder value. But also, I would say they are competing the next markets because CTP is not about to stay within 10 markets. We continue working on international expansion. We are considering various options. So if it happens, we go in 1, 2, 3 more markets. Actually, Romania and all the existing markets at CTP inside the company will start competing broader landscape, which we consider very, very, very healthy because of that driving us to grow and to innovate.
And talking about Poland, Poland has powerful regional cities. Does Romania also have these from your point of view? We don't have that mark. We don't have cities of more than 1 million inhabitants, only Bucharest. Poland has those. But do you see this potential also in our market?
Absolutely, yes. Look, it's quite natural that, as I mentioned, in Romania, we are present in Timișoara, in Arad, Oradea, Sibiu, Cluj, Turda, Salonta, Craiova, plenty of places. And we have demand from our clients, international clients, to go beyond. By the way, the whole story of historical international expansion of CTP was never like a closed boardroom, whiteboard, smart minds showing, putting their arrow, where is the next direction. It was always about being in touch with our existing tenants, their existing clients, and listening carefully to them, where the business brings them. So from that perspective, we already have a list of the places where I can have my first client if I start building tomorrow. All it takes is to be also sort of rational to look at the scale of it, of such investments, because we are at the same time believers into the expansion. We are strong believers in parks. And what we mean by parks is co-location of various types of the buildings, small, medium-sized, large spaces, custom-built spaces, because with the scale, we actually can benefit out of the economy of scale. We can do better services, we can provide better greenery, better connection to public transportation, better services for trucks, drivers, daycare, medical care, all that sort of stuff. It only happens if you co-locate a lot. So I would say a park for us is something like 100,000 square meters or more, or preferably 150. So if I look at where we operate, our top 20 parks at CTP are representing nearly 3/4 of our presence. And Romania is a fantastic example. The biggest park we have across the whole network is here in kilometer 23 on the west side of Bucharest. That's a great inspiration also for other countries. So actually Romania, in terms of our park making concept, is very much pioneering country.
Thank you. Mihai, final thoughts about what will come after 2025? We should make a push for electrics and hybrids, or just go for electrics when it comes to the local market?
Well, The answer could be very simple. The clients will tell us. So I am a strong believer in our customers and in what can they do and what can they afford. And this is basically one of the recipes of success for Dacia, is that I like what Peter just said, that it's listening to its clients, so, that we are doing the same. We are agnostic of technology. The most important point, right, is to be to reduce the carbon footprint. There is no debate about that, right? The question is how to do it. And obviously electric is one way, and everybody's talking about it, and we have the most affordable electric car on the market in Romania, which basically electrified Romania. But that's only one way. Let's not forget about hybrid cars. Let's not forget about LPG. Let's not forget about the tests that we are doing. I mean, this year we were in Dakar for the first time. And it's not just the race, it's more than that. And you know that we are testing there the
e-fuels.
The e-fuels. That could be an answer. I say could be an answer in the next decade. So we look also into the future, not just 2025, 2026. And we also look at what we call quick wins to reduce the carbon footprint. Because look at what did I say about hybrids? We were producing here the first full hybrids in Romania with Jogger. We were selling about 15%. Then we produced Duster full hybrid. We sold about 30%. And then now we are opening orders in Bigster, and already orders are about 60% of the hybrid. So every step goes into the reducing the carbon footprint. And just to anticipate one thing, which might be a little elephant here in this room, and not only in this room, some people do really believe that but spring is an issue, is not produced in Europe, and it depends how you look at things, you know, because either you want to see the truth or you want to hear a story. And the truth is very simple. If you look at spring, and it's not me that I'm saying that, in terms of cradle to grave, spring is carbon footprint is about 21 tons per year. And I'm talking here about starts of the production and all the suppliers for making the car, about transporting the car, logistics, and selling that car, right? On the functioning of the car, it's quite simple because it's zero. But if we add all these things, according to an independent research institute, which is Green Cap, then you arrive to the best car that we can have in Europe in terms of carbon footprint by now. I'm not saying that there will be others developed soon, but again, and this is Dacia, this is what we are doing. We are solving an issue in a very simple and in a very accessible way. This is why we're here.
Thank you very much for joining us today, gentlemen. This was our first show called Cum Construim România, a new program of Ziarul Financiar that wants to promote Romania and promote, of course, building new projects here. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having
once
us.
again. Mulțumesc și telespectatorilor noștri și vă doresc o zi bună în continuare. Nu uitați, ne vedem săptămâna viitoare la aceeași oră.